My name's Liam Kenney, and I have a 1970 Citroen DS21. I'm gonna put the, I guess, most brief version of the history. Andre Citroen had been messing around with odd suspension technology since the 1930s with their car, the 2CV, I'm sure you've heard of. The entire point of that car was to be able to drive over a heavily rutted field with a crate of eggs in the back and not be able to break a single one. So they started messing around with very, compliant suspensions, finding a way to give a compliant yet, I guess, controlled suspension feel. And they started working on this technology right before World War II broke out. Well, Andre Citroen then burned all of his plans because he hated the Nazis so much. He didn't want the Nazis to get a hold of it, exactly. He thought that they could be armed and turn into a war vehicle unlike any other, which, probably was not inaccurate. So in order to start the engine, you take the gear stick and you go that way with it to where it says engine start. You gotta give it a little gas because it's not fuel injected, obviously. So you push forward on the gear stick for first, pull back for second, third, and fourth are this way.
There's no clutch?
There is no clutch.
Okay, so you just shift it.
Shift it, you just let off the gas while you're...
Let off gas, shift, get back on gas.
Yeah, exactly, when you feel it go into gear.
I'm really astonished by how functional of a car it is, especially since it was basically a prototype for so many different kinds of technology.
This car's never had any restoration work done to it. This is all original.
But yeah, for the most part, yeah. There's no roof liner, and that's about it. It has a button for the brake pedal, so that's a thing. This was one of the first cars to have disc brakes, and they're not normal disc brakes, they're actually inboard disc brakes, so they're not attached to the wheel or the hub, they're not out by the wheel, they're inboard, behind all the bodywork, basically next to the transmission up there.
And so it breaks the drive shaft, right? So it slows the drive shaft down?
I'm not 100% sure how it works, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You can thank this car for disc brakes, radial tires. Was the first car with a gearbox that was effectively a manual gearbox that you shift, but it has no clutch pedal. It's an automated clutch. Pretty much all of the hydraulic systems were world first. Basically, on the suspension, there are things that look like spheres, and they're green, and they're very strange. They look like little globes, but basically inside of them they have some sort of a rubber bladder. They're filled with nitrogen, I believe it is, and they go in with the LHM, and as the suspension compresses, the LHM goes up, but it moves up the nitrogen in the bladder as well, and it literally creates a suspension that, other than when it runs out of travel, cannot get bottomed out, cannot be really, really stiff unless you ask it to be. None of this is electronic, which I have no idea how they managed to figure this out, but it's the most insane thing I've ever experienced in my life. I love it.
The engine is not overwhelmingly powerful. I find myself needing to downshift on hills, but it downshifts very smoothly. And the power is pretty linear. I don't know.
Can you say it's linear if it's not there at all?
It works. It works in a very relaxing manner. I would totally take this on a leisurely cruise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The car is extremely comfortable.
I am beyond comfortable. This is more comfortable than my couch.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, there's so much space back here.
It's a couch, dude. It's literally a couch.
Oh my gosh. This is so comfortable. I want to sleep back here.
The floor has padding.
Oh my gosh.
The floor has like 2 inches of padding.
This is fantastic. I'm just gonna...
The visibility is absurd, dude. Man, where'd you go?
It's so cushiony.
This car idealizes the Parisian lifestyle, I guess. It's very comfortable. And that is, the first thing that you'll notice about this car is just the level of comfort and the fact that it's like a magic carpet over bumps. You have to look at the fact that in Paris, all of those old cobblestone roads that are just awful, chopped up things you're just in any other cars. Yeah, exactly. And these things were designed to cope with that. Horsepower, it's 109 horsepower out of the 2.1 that's in this car, the DS21. So it's 109 horsepower. It actually has hemispherical head, so it is a Hemi. It's got a single Weber carburetor. You know, honestly, for its era, it was a really, really powerful motor for what it was. You know what? To be honest, it's been really easy to own as far as reliability is concerned. I've never gone to drive this thing and have it not start or not work in any way. Yeah, it gets smiles everywhere it goes. I mean, literally, you go and fill the thing up and you have 15 people around you trying to ask what it is. I mean, it's a thing of beauty and it attracts attention everywhere. You know, with other old cars, with, you know, things like that, you get into them and they're noisy, they don't ever want to start, they don't ever want to do anything, they're very uncomfortable for the most part. No power steering, nothing like that. The clutches, there's always something wrong in there. But this thing, you just get into it and you drive it. I mean, I would drive this thing out to the West Coast if I could. I mean, it's the ultimate road trip car in my mind, just because it's so comfortable and it gets amazing fuel economy, weirdly enough. I've gotten like 38 miles a gallon out of this thing. I mean, I tend to average about 30, but I mean, even in the city, and I don't drive this thing easy.
It's back in production. Like, what the fuck are you
Yeah, I know, right? Edit that out.
All right, third. Pretty much don't have to use the brakes, just all engine braking.
And then halfway
Neutral here. It's not bad. Okay. You want to go, bro?
Dude, you just got shot by a geoprism.
So I really like it. It's got a lot of comfort features. I mean, it is a boat. It's a boat of a car it's a self-leveling boat. And
all the world is your ocean.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the water right now, quite literally. It's fantastic to drive, like, in a different way. It's not like it's a fast straight line car or a fast cornering car. It's a unique experience, and it's really undescribable through a video that we can't really portray what it's like.
It's charming.
Yeah, it's charming.
I think you can tell through a video that it is absurdly charming. And part of that is just because it works. It still works. You know what I mean? Like, they were so intuitive that far back.
Turning every head. Oh man, that's great, you know? Like, people that are not car people are turning their heads to look at this because it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know for a fact that it was styled, you know, due to the aerodynamics of it, was a big deal. They were first starting to mess with that again in the 50s, so they wanted to come up with something that was streamlined and very, you know, very advanced. As far as the designer, I know he was actually a Citroen in-house guy. They didn't farm this out to Pininfarina or any of the big guys like a lot of the other companies were doing in the era. So this was an entirely inner Citroen design that ended up, I think, being absolutely fantastic. It's stood the test of time quite well, in my opinion. So, I'm 23 now, I'll preface it with that. But I started out racing go-karts when I was 5 years old. Went through the international ranks of that until I was about 12, got into Formula Renault, which is a full-on open-wheel car. Went through the ranks of that again when I was 16, raced Volkswagen Jetta TDI Cup, finished second in the championship. Went over, raced in Europe, did ADAC Formula Masters, did some testing in F3. So I was doing this all the way up until I was 19, and the economy just tanked and there was no money to continue going. So, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I mean, it's kind of hard to go back to a normal life after that, but I manage with my obscure cars and my terrible, terrible addiction to that. But but yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is, you know. As long as I have fun cars to drive and good roads around me, I'm a pretty happy person, so.